I'm not going to sugarcoat it, a single phone call revealed a shocking truth that would shake the very foundations of a seemingly ordinary household. On January 10, 2020, at exactly 9:47 p.m., Sarah Johnson received an unexpected call from a private investigator she had hired just hours before. What followed was a conversation that would expose the darkest secrets lurking behind the doors of her own family's home. The investigation was sparked by a series of strange occurrences in the Johnson household: equipment malfunctioning, misplaced belongings, and an eerie feeling of being watched. Sarah's husband, John, initially dismissed these events as mere coincidence or stress, but Sarah's intuition told her otherwise. She decided to take matters into her own hands and hired private investigator Michael Wilson, a renowned expert with over 20 years of experience. As Sarah listened intently on the phone, Mike's words sent shivers down her spine. "Sarah, I've been digging deeper into your husband's background, and I think you need to know something. There's a pattern here that doesn't add up." He revealed that John had been using multiple aliases online and was actively involved in some shady dealings, nothing that would raise red flags on its own, but combined with the strange occurrences at home, it painted a disturbing picture. The more Sarah learned, the more she realized how little she truly knew about her husband. She recalled their first meeting, where John had presented himself as a successful businessman, and how he had always been so evasive when asked about his past. Her memories of their relationship began to unravel like threads from a fragile tapestry. As the investigation continued, Mike uncovered some stunning connections. John's alias online matched an individual linked to several high-profile embezzlement cases. The same name was associated with a string of suspicious transactions in offshore accounts, enough to raise eyebrows among law enforcement agencies worldwide. This revelation sent Sarah reeling as she struggled to reconcile her life with the truth unfolding before her eyes. How could this be happening? She thought back to all the times John had gone out to work late at night, claiming it was for business meetings. His evasiveness now seemed calculated and sinister. With the pieces falling into place, Sarah couldn't shake off the feeling that she was trapped in a living nightmare. The eerie atmosphere at home took on a new light, no longer just ordinary household mishaps but signs of something far more insidious. The sections that follow delve deeper into the specifics of John's hidden life and how he managed to deceive those closest to him for so long. They explore the psychological dynamics at play in manipulating loved ones, the red flags often overlooked, and the devastating impact on families caught up in such situations. Mike's investigation revealed a web of deceit that John had woven over years, with Sarah unwittingly caught in its center. Using his multiple aliases online, he had created an intricate network of fake identities to carry out his illicit activities. These aliases linked him to companies involved in questionable business practices and high-stakes embezzlement schemes. According to Mike's findings, one alias, David Lee, was particularly significant. David Lee was a pseudonym John used extensively on the dark web for illegal transactions. What made this alias so potent was its connection to an elite group of hackers known as the Shadow. Their reputation preceded them; they were masters of infiltrating even the most secure systems. Mike explained that the Shadow, with their vast resources and technical prowess, could hack into any computer system, transfer funds without leaving a digital footprint, and even manipulate stock prices for personal gain. John's involvement with this group raised more than just red flags; it signaled he was operating in some of the most dangerous territory possible. The connections to high-profile cases began to surface. There were several instances where individuals connected to David Lee or one of his other aliases had been named as suspects. It seemed that no matter how hard investigators tried, they couldn't quite pin down enough evidence to secure convictions. Sarah's mind was reeling. How could someone so close to her be involved in such a world? Why did she not see it before? The questions swirled, but one kept coming back: how long had John been leading this double life? As Mike dug deeper into John's background, he found evidence of a chilling pattern. John was an expert in manipulating those around him. He knew exactly which buttons to press, when to show affection and concern, and how to make people doubt their own sanity. Mike shared that Sarah's sister, Emily, had confided in him about her own suspicions regarding John. She mentioned the countless times he'd gone out on business trips without returning calls or messages for days, only to return with gifts or promises of vacations. His charm and charisma were undeniable, but what seemed like kindness was actually a skillful ruse designed to keep people from questioning his activities. This manipulation wasn't limited to Sarah. Mike discovered numerous cases where John had used his charm to cover up his tracks. He would frequently take business trips to destinations with lax financial regulations, only to return with questionable investment opportunities and schemes that promised astronomical returns, always convincing those around him of their viability. Sarah recalled times when she'd asked John about specific transactions or meetings he'd had during these trips. His explanations always seemed plausible enough for her to accept, never once raising a red flag. In hindsight, his evasiveness now looked like part of an elaborate act designed to conceal the truth. With Mike's findings in mind, Sarah couldn't shake off the feeling that she had been living under the same roof as a master deceiver. She recalled how she'd often catch glimpses of John on his phone or computer late into the night, always excusing himself with claims he was working or dealing with something urgent. This behavior was so common it almost became normal to her, until Mike's words finally pieced together the puzzle. The strange occurrences in your home? The missing items? The feeling you're being watched? It wasn't just stress or coincidence, it was John using technology to keep tabs on you. Mike explained how easy it is for individuals with advanced knowledge of surveillance software and hacking tools to monitor others without leaving a digital footprint. This realization chilled Sarah further, making her wonder how long he'd been watching her. In the months leading up to Mike's investigation, there were several instances where John's behavior raised red flags that Sarah had initially dismissed as minor concerns. He was often secretive about his work, preferring not to discuss details or specifics even when asked directly. Sarah remembered how once she'd found a series of suspicious emails on their shared computer, cryptic messages referring to Project Aurora and transactions in countries with lax financial laws. John brushed it off as nothing more than business correspondence, insisting she focus on the family rather than his work. Looking back, Sarah saw these incidents for what they were, clear signs that something was amiss. Her intuition had been trying to tell her something all along, but she'd ignored it in favor of trusting someone who was manipulating her trust. The revelation sent shockwaves through Sarah's life, affecting not just her relationship with John but also their family and friends. It brought home the harsh reality that even those closest to you can hide secrets so dark they're capable of destroying everything in their path. As news spread about John's activities, their social circle began to shrink dramatically. Friends and acquaintances felt betrayed by his deception and questioned how much they had unknowingly been a part of it. Sarah's sister Emily, who had always been skeptical of John, now felt vindicated but also heartbroken for the pain he'd caused. The family's financial situation was in shambles as well. Investments tied to John's questionable schemes were rapidly losing value. It seemed that no matter how hard they tried to salvage their lives, every step forward was met with another hurdle from John's web of deceit. In a single phone call, Sarah's life was turned upside down by the revelation that her husband had been living a double life. What started as ordinary household issues escalated into an expose of dark secrets hidden behind closed doors. The journey through Mike's investigation left no stone unturned, revealing a complex web of deceit that spanned years and involved connections to high-profile embezzlement cases, manipulation of those closest, and use of surveillance technology to keep tabs on his family. This case highlights the devastating impact of deception in personal relationships, showing how easily trust can be manipulated and broken. As Sarah Johnson found out, sometimes it takes just one phone call to expose a lifetime of lies, leading down a path of discovery that challenges everything you thought you knew about those closest to you.